Now with the dimensions, now you'll see it's so much easier to do your dimensions because your annotation is now added to your style itself from the start when you create your style name. So if I go to my dimension set, and I'm going to go manage, I'm going to say new, and I'm going to say Caddie 26, the name of my style. Now you will see, now it's immediately in Caddie 26 available. Annotative is switched on, so I'm going to say OK, and now I'm going to modify it. That's if you've got a standard in the office. For the new users, you've got a dimension line color that you have to make use of, so you can select your color. I'm going to keep it by block. By block means it will make use of my existing pen color, my active pen color. Then I can change my font as well. I'm going to make use of a true type font, Arial, and I can even change my extension lines. I'm going to give it a fixed length of 5mm. So my text size is 2.5 and my arrow size is also 2.5. That's the standard setup of your dimension style. So as soon as I'm going to say OK, I'm going to ask Caddie to set it current. So I'm going to close it, and now I'm going to apply my dimension. Now for those that's familiar with the Caddie engine, on the object properties at the moment my annotation scale is set to 150. So that means that if I'm going to do a dimension now, it will give me a presentation at the scale of 150. Now remember, when I talk about the status bar at the bottom, now it's so much easier to have a look here at the bottom and see that if I want a presentation of 1 and 100, I can set it to 1 and 100. It automatically updates my object properties because that's just a link between the two. It's exactly the same command. So I want to see a presentation of 150 of my dimensions that I'm going to do now. So I'm going to start off with horizontal dimension. I'm going to zoom in and I'm going to do my dimension. Remember, you can also make use of your context toolbar. So it's very handy. And I'm going to do a vertical dimension. So now I've done my dimensions using a style, but it's also annotative. And at the moment in my model space, it gives me a presentation at the scale 1 and 50. So if I'm going to create a viewport now, so there's my viewport. I'm going to go to sheet 1, and my first viewport I would like it to be 1 and 50. I'm going to say OK, and I can place my viewport. So at the scale of 1 and 50, my text size will be 2.5, my arrows will be 2.5mm. That's what I want. Now I can either go back and create a new viewport, or I can repeat the previous command. So I want the same viewport detail, but I want it to be in a scale of 1 and 100. So I'm going to say OK, and I can place it scale 1 and 100. And as you can see, my text size, everything is exactly the same size. So if I go to the same command, and now I wanted to have a presentation of, say, 1 and 25. If I say OK, I can place my viewport. So I've used only one dimension set in my model space, but I've asked Caddie to present those dimension style in 3 different viewports with 3 different scales. So if I go back to my model space, at the bottom of my status bar, once again, I can ask Caddie, give me a presentation of those annotation finishes, 1 and 100. And it shows me on my model space. Give it for me to 1 and 25. Give it for me to 1 and 40. So once again, it's handy to make use of what's new to the status bar here at the bottom, to toggle between your annotative objects so that you can see exactly how it's going to present on your sheet. You'll also notice that there's 3 new scales added, the 1 to 25, the 1 to 125, as well as the 1 and 200. So if I go back to my sheet and I go to create a viewport, that's exactly the same list. So the 1 to 25 is added, the 1 to 125, and the 1 and 200.